It's Jay, and welcome to another edition of the Seminole Nation Radio News Program. I'm your host, Bo Whitekiller, coming to you from the Communications Department office in 215 East Evans here in downtown Seminole, Oklahoma, the site of the Seminole Nation Reservation. We'd like to just welcome you to today's broadcast and say it's a short week, so we should be having a lot of smiles. We should be ready for the week, whatever it may come of it. We just look to bring good prayers to you and good vibes sent after getting a restful weekend this past weekend. I hope it was a good one. The day after Labor Day, Tuesday, September 8th. And if you're getting this on video, it'll be Wednesday, September 9th. So we're starting to close in on the midweek of September. It's kind of a bittersweet time because this is usually the time we're right smack dab in preparation for Seminole Nation Days. This year it was canceled due to the pandemic, but this is one of those times when our buddy at the complex, procurement specialist Mike Cisco, has always come and told me this is his favorite time of the year. It's next to Christmas and his grandkids' birthdays, but he was always excited about Seminole Nation Days, and his enthusiasm was infectious, so I can vouch for that. And like I said, it's kind of a bittersweet time that we're not preparing for it. Activities and events have been canceled, but the chief will be having a State of the Nation address coming up shortly. The Communications Department has been tasked to provide the video support of that. And as soon as we get that the date ironed out, I'll definitely put it out through our social media channels on when and where to tune into it. It'll be through our YouTube as well as our other social media outlets. The Chief's State of the Nation address, where he'll be addressing a lot of the activities that's been going on last year, as well as some of the forward momentum that we have. One of the things regarding forward momentum was a recent court case that was in district court in Seminole County Thursday. I'll talk about that in a little bit, about jurisdiction and Major Crimes Act involving a Seminole tribal member that was sent to us. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing more and more of these cases come down through the court system regarding whether or not the federal government will take over the ownership of the case, or the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma judicial system. So they will be handling it. So these things are on the table, and as with any of this regarding the McGirt versus Oklahoma decision, I just totally encourage each and every one of you, if there's something that you don't understand about it, or there's something that you would like explained about it, that we educate ourselves about it, because going forward the Seminole Nation will do nothing but benefit from some of the recent gains and observances of the other nations, as specifically the Muskogee Creek Nation, as they handled the decisions and the jurisdictional approaches that they have, that we could probably glean from just observing how they're handling things. I totally would encourage you all to, if you need a copy of this Supreme Court decision, please let us know here at the Communications Office. We can definitely get those things printed off for you. But just in support of the Muskogee Creek Nation, Chickasaw Nation, and the rest of the tribes throughout the United States, just educate yourself as to what it means and how it is. We sit around and talk. When I say we, and I'll use this collectively, anytime we're here in the office, the language department, myself, my staff here, and from time to time we get some interesting discussion going on with people that have come through the door prior to this COVID pandemic. Being able to sit down and talk about, we kid around and say that we solve world problems around this desk, but a lot of it is just a good, open, honest discussion about the way things are within the nation. So one of the things we did talk about was what does it mean to be sovereign? Now, that question I put to each and every Seminole tribal member. What does it mean to be sovereign? What does it mean to have sovereignty? And ask yourself that. Ask your children that, and see what they say. And young people, young adults, what does it mean to be sovereign? And those answers will be gleaned from a course forward, and this is just Bo Whitekiller's opinion. The answer to that question will be gleaned in the actions that we take within the Seminole Nation to make it prosperous and make it what we can be. So, without getting too deep into it, it's one of those things that we like to dissect and discuss. So, just throw that out there to you. This Thursday, let me just click on what I had here, and let me change glasses right now. Those of you who are watching and listening, I'm changing my glasses. I've got two sets of glasses. I have to have one looking at the computer and one that I can look at the camera. So, but actually, the opinion of the court that was held this past Thursday was that the opinion of the court was that the Seminole Nation has always been a reservation. The Oklahoma Trial Court concludes that Seminole Nation reservation boundaries are extant post McGirt. That means they have never not dismissed. They've always been that way. And so this was actually in the District Court of the State of Oklahoma, District Court of Seminole County, the State of Oklahoma. Was the State of Oklahoma versus Coker Dean Barker. Now, the defendant was charged with the first-degree murder, deliberate intent, in District Court of Seminole County. The District Court information alleges that on April 2nd, 2019, defendant with malice and afterthought caused the death of Michael Kilo by blunt force trauma, asphyxia, and shooting. And on August 3rd, 2020, last month, the defendant filed a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction over crimes committed by Indian in, quote, Indian country, unquote. Defendant's motion contends that he is a member of a federally recognized tribe possessing a quantum of Indian blood, and he is Indian, and that the alleged offenses were committed within the Seminole Nation reservation. He argued that the state of Oklahoma lacks criminal jurisdiction over him because of the opinion of the United States Supreme Court in McGirt versus Oklahoma. Now, the court noticed the parties for hearing and invited the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma to file a brief regarding the important jurisdictional issue at stake. The court set forth the following question in order to decide the defendant's motion to dismiss. Is the Seminole Nation a reservation and thus Indian country for purposes as defined by McGirt versus Oklahoma? If yes, what are the boundaries of the Seminole Nation reservation? And if yes, did the alleged crimes occur within the Seminole reservation? If yes, is the defendant an Indian for purposes of the Act and McGirt versus Oklahoma? So with this, on August 25th late last month, the court conducted a hearing with the parties, counsel, and the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma present. The state of Oklahoma appeared by District Attorney Paul Smith and Candace Irby. The defendant appeared with counsel Peter C. Astor. Seminole Nation appeared by and through counsel Brett Staven and Chief Greg Chilcote. Court heard arguments, accepted stipulations, and received exhibits from the parties. Now, just to go over this, it was roughly an 11-page order that was issued by the District Court Judge Olson. But he went on to say that the reservation remains intact as made clear by McGirt. McGirt affirmed a long-standing tenet of federal Indian law: once a reservation is established, only Congress can de-establish that reservation, and to do so, it must clearly express its intent to do so, commonly with an explicit reference to secession, or other language evidencing the present and total surrender of all tribal interests. So here, because Congress has not explicitly indicated an intent to de-establish the Seminole Reservation by language of cessation or otherwise, it remains intact. Now, there's some other explanations on here, and again, this information is published on our social media sites currently. So if you see a Turtle Talk blog, that is the link to get to this information, but it's the actually the motions and the final order. Oklahoma statehood did not de-establish the reservation. Again, these are and it gives the boundaries of the Seminole Nation. Does the state of Oklahoma have jurisdiction over the defendant for the crime charged? No. Now, in the final paragraph of our final two paragraphs of what Judge Olson wrote, based on the findings and analysis set forth above, it is hereby ordered, adjudged, and decreed that the motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction over the defendant is granted. It is further ordered that the findings and orders of the court contained in this decision are stayed for a period of 30 days after this order becomes final. The order will only become final if the state of Oklahoma does not appeal the decision within the time allowed by law, or there is a decision affirming the order with mandated by the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals. So, what this basically says is that Seminole Nation is a reservation. Has been, always will be. This is a precedent-setting moment for the Seminole Nation, in a sense that it was kind of quiet, but then after word got out, and we understand, a crime was committed. But it is precedent-setting in the sense that it just mirrors what McGirt did in the Supreme Court. Now, again, all this information will be placed on our Seminole Nation Facebook page with the heading "The Reservation Remains Intact," as made clear by McGirt. Just click on the Turtle Talk blog for more information on what we just read. Now, getting a little bit closer to actions that's going on within our current sphere of influence. We had the General Council meeting on Saturday through Zoom. This is the second one that we had through Zoom, and I have to share with you, if you haven't already listened to it, it's been posted as a live stream. If you haven't listened to it, it was a pretty efficient meeting. It was a meeting that lasted only an hour and a half, roughly, and that was probably one of the quickest ones that had a lot of business to get through and a lot of good discussion at the same time. So it was something that going forward, I feel like it's a really good tool for us excuse me, as a nation, to get things done. I've had a chance to sit down and look at some of the other contemporaries that we have in tribal general councils and watch how they conduct meetings. And one thing we don't like to do is compare or contrast or anything, but just kind of observe and kind of glean from it. We did pretty good. I got to applaud these general council members. You guys got up there and really did a good job of making it efficient, you had your questions ready. If you didn't get the answers you want, I'm sure it'll be coming out during the State of the Nation address. But for all intents and purposes, it was something that going forward, as we get better with it, we'll be able to do a lot more. That was my takeaway from it. The mute button, we're gonna get the mute button down to science at some point. And it's always been my hope that we could all get on the same sheet of music as a communications tool with the iPads. I talked to Chief one time, and I was saying, if we can get everybody back on these upgraded iPads and use them, that's a wonderful tool to do it. Everybody's on the same sheet of music. Everybody just logs in at the same time, and we just get on it and be able to talk accordingly. And maybe we'll get to it sometime down in the future. But overall, the last Saturday's meeting was a pretty good one. I will make mention too, also, that during that time we also had, Chief was at the Housing Authority with the Attorney General. Valentina was I'm sure she was at her home. We had other people that were staged in different areas that had access to Zoom. But outside the Housing Authority was a small demonstration. It was a 2-person demonstration, at 3 at times. I did get a chance to get out there and talk with them a little bit, but basically the demonstration was just, it was a group that was called United Seminoles for Justice. And I've got a sound bite here, clip, play it for you. But the clip kind of goes into what they were protesting for, peaceful protest, just out there with signs and just being a voice that's heard. This is Ann Borba, Ann Johnson Borba that you'll hear. She was the spokesperson along with another lady, Wendy Boswell, that were leading this. And here's a sound bite from that moment.
Many times our people have been hurt. They've been shunned. We have been lied to. We have been taken advantage of. And now I feel like that our own tribe is taking advantage of us. We need to take a stand, and we need to take a stand today. Make your voice heard. Make your voice count. The Seminole Nation of Oklahoma is the people. We are the ones who can make a difference. This is the first step in our journey. We've had many more protests until our voice is heard. They are having a Zoom meeting right now inside the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. And our so-called Chief Chilcote, some of them call him Chief Chuchuji, is inside, and they're doing a Zoom meeting. Some of the responses I have heard is that they are being muted. Council reps are being muted. He controls the buttons of who can speak and who cannot. Why can't we have a council meeting at the council house with social distancing and masks? We are Seminoles. We are warriors. Make your voice count. Make your voice heard. Take a stand.
And that was Ann Johnson Borba relaying some information from the actual protest that they had during the council meeting. The Emergency Tribal Assistance Program ended on the 31st of August. Again, that was a question that was brought up during the council meeting, as far as we still have some outstanding mail-outs. Greg Votal, the Finance Committee Chair, said there were roughly 5,000 that was mailed out, but about 4,000 left. It's been fluctuating because we've been getting more and more mail being received. But with the 31st deadline, it slowed down. It's kind of they worked over the weekend, as a matter of fact, put in some overtime to get that taken care of. But hopefully they were notified that we would like to have those mailed out by this week sometime, all of them, the remainders. So, it's kind of a moot point right now, but, everybody was asking, well, what's the process for that? Why is it taking so long? We can, we can share with you that once the mail comes to the office, or it came to the office, the check, at the drop box, with these applications, they would be picked up, or the mail would be brought in, and then if it was emailed, they would print off the application and open the mail. A timestamp was given, and then they would look over the application. There was 3 of them that would look over the application, make sure that there was no blanks, and if there was blanks, they would address questions, by replying in a return email or a mail saying, "I'm here to help you submit your application. Please follow the instructions and guidelines located on the application." So if you went in there and you forgot your last name, you would get a return mail with your corrections highlighted, so that you could be mailed back. And I understand that there were quite a bit that were like not legible, and many that were left blank in some areas. The one area that was left blank quite a bit was the card ID, tribal ID number. Now, as long as you put your Social Security in there, it would have been fine. And I think a lot of folks were instructed to do that. But we did have some, excuse me, that were left blank without it. But the tribal enrollment personnel, they were very helpful in being able to look it up. And a bottom line, that the whole process, nobody got left behind. That was the intent. Leave nobody behind. That was the intent. And so social media has a way of being very vocal and finding or trying to find nefarious means or some confusion or saying, without going too far in it. And it was far from it. This group of folks that initially got all these applications wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to partake in this and help out in any way. Meet you halfway, and the other half will follow. So, and then from there, the tribal enrollment got it. Tribal enrollment verified and approved personnel, also making sure that there wasn't any double dipping. The place was approved, denied applications in the folder located in this executive assistant Dropbox. So there was some denials for whatever reason given. As with any big movement such as this, or dealing with any finances, things like that, you'll find some denials with legitimate explanations. Again, no one left behind. However, there are some instances when denials are in place. Committee review, they review the application, determine the final approval, and these were usually the ones that look for all the T's crossed and the I's dotted, and then they sent the approved application to accounting, or accounting did all their handiwork in it. I want to say there was maybe 3 or 4 that was actually working on it, and that was and then the final process was the process of mailing it out, putting them in stuffing envelopes, mailing them out. Again, all the applications were logged in. They were determined not in an alphabetical order, but just by the way that they came in on a daily basis. If it came in June, there's still some in June that are needed to be processed. It's probably because it was placed at the bottom. There was one time that Seminole Nation didn't deal from the bottom of the deck, so we just take it from the top and go on. But that was kind of the situation with that. We've since passed that. We're going to get those out of the way. Move on to the next one, which is technology assistance program. And again, with kind of the same route. We've never done anything like this. Just be patient. We'll get it there. If your child has filled out an application and in need, by all means, you're to get this assistance, and it's due to our people that are actually working really hard, making sure that they're getting it out for you in a timely manner, learning lessons from this first initial COVID response emergency assistance mail out. So just be patient and lift them up, and we'll get this thing through and out of the way, and get some nice things for your kids. Technology wise, one thing I wanted to do, Chief will do his State of the Nation address. It's coming up. We'll set a date for it, hopefully by the end of the week. Census to end their count. If you haven't done the census yet, please, census. The last day to do that is September 30th. And I want to say I read something over the weekend. It was like 49%. Oklahoma is now ranked 40th for getting any census response. We're actually really not getting a lot of responses on our census. And as a nation, hopefully I can find some numbers for that in the next couple of days, but we're in need of getting our census information as a nation taken care of. So if you haven't done that already, please go to census.gov and be counted. Doesn't take but 5 minutes at the longest to get your household counted. And when you fill that out, and when it asks tribal affiliation, Seminole Nation. That's why you've always seen this hashtag Seminole Nation counts in some of our social media sites. Remember to put in there Seminole Nation. That way, any information that's specific to Seminole Nation will be able to be put in a data base, and we'll be able to look at those things accordingly once they come down the line. So just make sure that you put that down there and read that out. We do have some more information forthcoming. I will make sure that those things are put out. I do have one announcement from Dee at Housing Authority. Let me see where she's at. Sorry, Dee, I had it up here. Okay, the Housing Authority of the Seminole Nation will be having a drive-by application pickup Tuesday, September 22nd, and drop-off Friday, September 25th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. each day in the parking lot of the Housing Authority. The push for applications is to build up our waiting lists for possible projects in the future. Income limits are higher, waiting times are shorter than in the past, so Dee's saying, come by, see us. For all the completed applications received, including required documentation, we will be having a drawing for a $100 gift card on September 28th. Okay, so that's the Housing Authority. We have a drive-by application pickup on Tuesday, September 22nd, and drop-off Friday, September 25th from 10 to 2. More information will be provided by calling 405-257-6604. It's 405-257-6604. And I'll be posting this on our website and Facebook as well. All right, that's getting pretty close. I just wanted to share some of that information, a little new format what we're going with. We're going to be scheduling some guests. I was supposed to have a council member in today. We'll look to get some of those personnel on a little bit more and kind of talk shop with them a little bit, and be cognizant of the fact that it's going to get colder here, so start preparing. I know we're going to have a cold front coming in, so just start getting ready for that, and then check on your elders. And again, with that, we'll have to say Haram Chihi Chatlis. Thank you, KWSH, for your radio station. Thank you out there for listening to this program. If you have any questions or comments about anything, please call 405-382-1010. That's 405-382-1010. That's the Communications Department. Leave your questions with us or hit us up on Facebook. We'll try to get you answered as quick as we can. I know I've got a lot of questions and a lot of statements I got to look at here shortly, so that's what I'll be doing the rest of the day. Be nice, be kind to one another. Today's Star Trek Day, so all you Trekkies out there, have a good day. We love you, and Seminole Nation.